So industry leaders, movers, shakers, and my seafaring brothers and sisters, morning again. I want to talk a bit on the crew well-being aspect. I've got about 10, 12 slides. I'm going to keep it short. I'm also very mindful of this timer that sort of sits on my head. So let's get started. So, question to the audience: have you heard of the term region beta paradox? Anyone? Region beta paradox? Can you, if you heard that, can you put your hand up? Apos? Have you heard of Daniel Gilbert? So I'm not talking of the American billionaire Daniel Gilbert. I'm talking of the psychologist Daniel Gilbert. So Daniel Gilbert came up with the region beta paradox back in 2004. And what this means, rather than me explain, I found a video on TikTok that explains what this region beta paradox is all about.
Have you ever heard of the region beta paradox? You might be suffering from it right now. Let's imagine a person called Jim commuting to work. Jim decides that if his office is less than 1 mile away, he's going to walk to work, and if it's more than 1 mile away, he's going to cycle. Now the paradox is that if Jim's office is 2 miles away and he cycles, he'll actually arrive there earlier than if he walked. So there's this weird situation going on where something that's actually technically worse for him, like his office being further away, actually turns out to be better because it forces him to cycle and therefore takes him less time to get there. The psychologist who discovered this in 2004, Daniel Gilbert, called this the region beta paradox, because on this graph, region beta is the zone where worse situations actually end up being better for you. And this relates to many other areas of life as well. For example, if you don't like your job, but it's just about bearable, it could be better for you if your job was actually worse and you were forced to quit or take some other kind of action. So this is the region beta paradox, that sometimes in life things need to get bad enough before you're forced to take action, like breaking up with someone or going to see the doctor about your health.
So I'm not saying that you go and break up with someone or you quit your job, but why this becomes relevant is on the next slide. I want to share with you 4 case studies, and the first one involves a breakup. And in this case, we had the seafarer who experienced a breakup while she was on board. It led to alcohol consumption. It led to an altercation under the influence of alcohol. We provided the help. We avoided signing her off, and she was able to continue on board. So, we had a situation, there was a task at hand, we took some actions, and we had a result that she was able to continue serving on board. Then I have another case of sexual harassment, and this has come up in the panel earlier today as well. And it's, this is something we can't stop working on. It's a continuous process, and I have a case here where there was a case on board. The captain reached out to our psychologist, who helped him manage the case while isolating I don't want to use the word perpetrator because that sounds like I'm sitting in judgment of someone, but whoever was causing the offense was isolated. The seafarer was repatriated and counseling provided to manage the trauma that this case caused. I have another case, losing control, and this pertains to a second officer on board who was displaying avoidance symptoms, and avoidance symptoms means, you tend to do or not to do what you need to do, and in this particular case it was safety critical matters that were at hand. So again, we provided counseling. We were able to get him back on the job, and he didn't have to sign off and come back home. The last one was grief and family support. So in this particular case, a seafarer lost a family member that caused a lot of trauma. We were then, and in this particular case, we could not continue with the contract. She had to sign off, took a 3-month break, and is still undergoing therapy to overcome that. So I want to sort of highlight to you what are the challenges that we face. I've extracted, this is the Q4 statistics that we have, and this is where I'll invite you as the audience to participate as well. It's very simple. You just have to tell me what do you think are the top. Okay, I gave up the first one, which is anxiety, but what do you think is the next one? From this list, can you tell me what comes up as number 2? Anyone? To my esteemed panelists, stress. Yeah. So okay, I'll put it up as stress. No, it's not stress. It's psychoeducation. But you're very close. Stress comes at number 6. Number 3 is family-related matters. Again, points back to connectivity, Starlink. Captain spoke about Starlink today, about how people are connected, and that relates to family matters that have a direct bearing on board. This is on the mental health. Now let's look at what happens on the physical side of the medical cases that we deal with. Again, I'm going to put up a list of 10, and let's see which are the top 3. Apos, do you want to take this one? Which one do you think is the top one? Musculoskeletal? Yep, that's right. So our research is in alignment with the findings of the doctor here. It's musculoskeletal cases that made it to the top. The second one is derma. The third one are infection related. So these are the sort of Q4 findings of the top 3. I think for those of you who are clicking pictures, I think Apos is going to circulate the slide deck eventually, so you can get full access to the slide deck in due course. So again, this is not a boost slide, but this is a slide to basically say that we draw these metrics on the medical advisory side from the 700 ships that we serve, and on the mental health side of things from the 7,000 vessels that we serve. So I'm going to go back to this region beta paradox, and I said you might want to break up with someone or you want to go and see a doctor about your health, but what I would like to draw your attention to is what it said just before that. It says, sometimes in life things need to get bad enough before you are forced to take action. Right? So that's the key message from this region beta paradox slide, and it begs the question, as an industry, are we doing enough? Can we do more? And if we can, what more can we do? What strategies can we employ? So this is where I want to share with you some of the emerging trends and areas of concern. So there are 8 areas of concern, and this has already been covered in the first panel. So I'm not going to go through all of this. I've been told no death by PowerPoint this morning. You will eventually get the slide, so you will have the details within it. But there are 8 areas of concern, and this forms for us the key areas of focus and strategy for 2025 and beyond. The next thing that I would like to share with you as the audience is that we are seeing very good outcomes by integrating physical health and mental well-being. The previous panel spoke about silos in a slightly different context. What I'm going to bring about is breaking that silo when it comes to mental health and physical well-being, because you can't isolate these two. They are linked together, and the previous panel even drew reference to that in its own way. And the next question that I have is, what is your strategy? From the time you pre-employ till the time you put someone on board, is there a strategy, and how do we implement that strategy? Do we put our seafarers through PAEPI quality assurances? I know we do PAEPI, so don't mix it up. I'm talking about the quality assurance on a PAEPI. We've spoken about a shortage of seafarers. Are we speaking about applying AI to a PAEPI result to go look ahead 4 to 10 years and identify markers which can be used to prolong the life of a seafarer? Now, I come from a position where no seafarer should leave sea because he wanted to be there, but his health didn't allow him to be there. If a seafarer chooses to leave seafaring for his personal choices or family reasons, I understand, that's different. But what about those who want to sail, but their medical condition doesn't allow them to sail? Can we do something about them? And the answer is yes. That's where the AI comes into the picture. Look at your test results of the seafarer, run it through an AI, and you will know what is going to be his status for the next 4 to 10 years. once he's on board, do we build that community? The gentleman in the earlier panel spoke about building a community. Captain spoke about, the cemetery. So what do we do then to keep this community together, to bring people out of their cabins? And that's where we run a Well at Sea program that encourages people to build resilience and work together on board as a community. And that's the highlight of my session. I have 3 minutes left, of course. And let's continue over the discussion. Thank you.